Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 8 of What If Naruto was Exiled from the Otsutsuki clan. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was told about the Uzumaki clan from the beginning over on Anime King, and enjoy that guys. And he also posts a brand new episode over on Anime King 2 of What If Naruto was a legendary Uchiha ex Namikaze. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for helping and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, and I'll reply and talk back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, with this to begin this new episode, start the intro. So the last time we left off, it has been 30 plus years since the utter destruction of the three nations, which were no longer great nations, they were just minor nations, as they were trying their best to rebuild over the past 30 plus years. But things haven't been so smooth. Because of their downfall, the minor villages rise up, and it was nothing but chaos for a long while. Chaos and pure destruction. But Konoha was still the strongest out of all of them. New Kages had took place for the Mizukage and the Roraikage, but Onki had survived, and he was still leading his village. Well, his broken, battered village, what was left of it? As Hiruzen went down to shut down Danzo's root program when he found out that Danzo was going behind his back doing things. Hiruzen did found out that Danzo had kidnapped the woman, the leader of the Uzumaki clan, and that meant that Danzo knew about the invasion. Hiruzen lost it, as he beat the living crap out of Danzo. As he took the girl, he knew that he could not tell Mito about the situation because she was already depressed about what happened to her clan and Naruto leaving and never showing his face again, and not to mention everything that was going on. So, he had to make up a fabricated story that Kushina, the leader, was found, as she was taken care of by some civilian until she had her baby, but soon after she died because of the illness, and they brought the baby back. She named her after her mother, as Mito grew Kushina like she was her own daughter and raised her well. Kushina was immensely strong. Well, her father was someone that was able to destroy three nations without breaking a sweat. She was immensely powerful, as she was able to crush all of Konoha enemies and became the fourth Hokage of Konoha, where she brought peace to the elemental nation because of her overwhelming power. She then settled down with Minato Namikaze, a dangerous man in his own right, but not as powerful as Kushina, as he had a child. But on that day, something tragic happened. Neither Hiruzen nor anyone knew what happened that day because Minato was out with his wife Boaka, and he saw that his wife had died and he didn't know how she died. But her neck had been snapped. He didn't know what happened though. All he knew that one moment everything was peaceful, and then next moment the Nine Tails was attacking the village, and Kushina was nowhere to be seen. They later found her dead as Minato was able to seal the Nine Tails inside of his baby boy, Minma, which they named Minma Namikaze, as they could not link him to Kushina in any way because she had a lot of enemies. So much enemies in fact. So they kept his lineage a secret, but when the people found out that he has the beast inside of him, there was many glares, many talks behind his back, and even some early assassinations. But they were never successful, because many people lost so many loved ones on that day. Meanwhile, Naruto was wreaking havoc on the planet, as they stole something from him. When he finally got what he wanted, he just left, as it was a flower, the herb, with the flower inside that he always kept with him. It was around his neck like a necklace. It made him take a trip back to the elemental nation, as he went to the grave site, only to find that it has changed, and there was a large building around it. He deactivated the seal, but the moment he did, the seal reacted to one at Konoha, and took a full scan of what was there. As Kushina was the one that set this up, and Hiruzen was quickly alerted. Hiruzen called the other council members as he spoke about the new event. Hiruzen did not tell them that Danzo was the one that kidnapped the girl, because if Naruto ever find out, well, he wasn't sure if Naruto was going to spare Konoha in his wrath while going after Danzo, and he'd want to take Minma with him, and the other members wouldn't like that at all. But Hiruzen had saw Naruto power firsthand, and it was frightening. He didn't know if any of them could face off against it, but Shikaku brought up a valid point. If Naruto cares about his family as much as Hiruzen said, given the fact that Minma wants to become Hokage, he would not want anything happening to this village. So they will have to count on that. As Naruto decided to make his way to Konoha to find Tsunade, he wasn't going to show himself, he was just going to glance. Because if he did, knowing that he was going to leave, it was going to be bad. But he saw the little boy in danger as he made his way to the forest. As he stopped, the spiders from harming the boy. He was tricked into coming here, as Naruto walked to the boy and found out that his name was Minma, as he spoke. As the boy didn't know why people hated him, as Naruto tapped him on his stomach and the both of them were brought into his mindscape. As Naruto saw Kurama told him that there was no reason for him to feel sorry for him, or do anything for him. It's not like they were friends. It was then that Minma said something that surprised Naruto. He called the fourth Hokage's name, Kushina Uzumaki, as Naruto was shaken to his core hearing that name. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across to your friends and check over yourself so to begin this new episode. Minma didn't know what was going on. Well, he was still in his workplace. He knew now why the people despise him so much. The giant creature that many said that wreak havoc and destroy and kill so many people was inside of him. So that is why people call him a demon, a monster behind his back. He had never understood why. No one told him why, and no he understood. But that wasn't what he was thinking about right now. All of a sudden, Naruto kneeled down in front of him. "Listen to me," said Naruto, as he looked Minma directly in the eyes. "What did you just say about the fourth Hokage?" Minma was confused. Her name? As Naruto nodded. "Well, it was Kushina Uzumaki. That is what we learned at the academy." "Kushina Uzumaki," said Naruto. "And from what you told to me earlier, she died. The night when the..." As Minma lowered his head. "The fox was sealed inside of me." As Naruto snapped his head towards the fox. "What's going on? Why should I tell you anything?" said Kurama. "I don't have time to waste," said Naruto. His tone was firm. "Answer my question. What the hell is going on?" Kurama growled. Minma trembled, but Naruto did not back down as he stepped directly towards the cage. "I am not gonna ask you again. What is going on?" As the air pressure started to change despite this being Minma's mindscape, the walls, the pipes, they started to tremble as the fox snarled. Before he just calmed himself, as he rests his head on his paws. "Let me guess. You want to know why does she has the same name as the one that you fell in love with?" Minma was confused as he didn't know what the hell was going on. And how did they even know each other? This fox was supposed to be a rampaging beast, so he was just shocked, confused. "Well, it's not her." "Then who is it?" said Naruto. "And why take her exact name? Was it Mito? Did she have another child?" "No." "Well, from what I've been able to gather, it is your child." As Naruto froze, he looked towards the fox, see if the thing was lying. As he looked deep within his eyes, despite people thinking that the fox was a raw beast of destruction, it had emotions, and you could see clearly in the fox's eyes that he wasn't lying. As Naruto was shaken to his core, all these years, being out there, self-loathing, destruction, death and more destruction. He had a daughter here that he didn't even know about. As Naruto dropped to his knees, and he didn't even get to meet her. Minma came over. You okay, mister?" But Naruto did not say anything, as Minma didn't know what was wrong, but his new friend seemed to be very sad. "What happened?" said Naruto. The fox smiled. "Well, from the bits of pieces I was able to gather in my brief contact with the human world, throughout your system, I heard about your anger when the Uzumaki's fall, your rage. It is quite something to be feared. The nations fear you for a long while. I was transferred inside of your daughter." "Daughter?" Minma said, confused. Your daughter was a powerful one. She was kind though and gentle. She did not hold me back much as Mito. So I was able to see many things that go on in her life. I do not know where she came from, but I heard the conversations and I knew that she was your daughter. It seems like your wife died, giving birth to her. But she grew up to be one of the finest Kunoichis within the elemental nation, able to rival the likes of Hoshirama Senju and Madara Uchiha in their prime. But then, as many humans, she fell in love. As Naruto looked up towards the fox, a shinobi of this village, something about Flash. Yellow Flash if I'm not mistaken. Wait, you mean Minato Namikaze? Said Menma. Of course he knew that man, he was from the same clan as him. As the fox smiled, he looked towards Menma. As he then turned back to Naruto, would you like to know something even more interesting? What's that? Said Naruto. That child there, he's our son. As Naruto turned towards Menma with shock, it made sense. That is why he felt so different. That is why he felt something strange. Look at this child. That is why the beast was inside of him. It was passed down. Wait, I'm the fourth Hokage's son? Menma was shaking to his core as he couldn't believe what he was hearing. But if I'm her son and you're her father, then that means... Are you my grandfather, mister? Menma asked. As Naruto looked up towards the fox to make sure that he was not trying to play some trickery or game here, because he sounded quite amused while telling his story. As the fox didn't look like he was lying at all, Naruto turned back towards Menma. I'll talk to you in a moment, he said. What happened to her, he said as he looked towards the fox. That night, when that little brat over there was being born. As the fox snarled with rage, I was forcefully ripped out of her by someone you trained. The fox knew that this was gonna be painful. He wanted Naruto to suffer a bit. After all, he knew that he was trapped inside of Mito. He could have freed him, but no, he did not. He knew that they were not friends. But that was the reason why Hoshirama decided to capture the other tail beasts, because he was subdued. So he wanted Naruto to suffer a bit. Someone I trained? Yes. None other than Madara Uchiha. Many people hated your daughter because of her power. And I'm sure that he could not step towards her because of how powerful she was. I do not know what happened myself, because those wretched eyes of his controlled me. When I came to though, she was dead. And then I saw that blonde man, who I just want to rip apart with my teeth. He was already going through the conquest of sealing me away into this wretched child over here. And that's all. As Naruto's head dropped, he still couldn't believe it. He the daughter. But he looked towards the fox. If you're lying to me, you won't like it. And why would I lie? Because Madara is supposed to be dead. He died a long time ago. Well, it seems somehow he tricked you. Even if he did not die, he's supposed to die by age by now. I don't know what to tell you, but yes, it was him. The chakra, the feeling, those wretched eyes that was used once before. It was none other than him. There is no mistake in that. So Madara is alive. And he's the cause of my daughter's death. Well, you trained him. So this is all on you. And while you were out there, wherever you were, your daughter was here, hoping for a father, but you left her behind. Just like you did this entire world. Because of your anger, because of your rage. So, this must be tearing you apart inside, isn't it? Hey, shut up! As everyone turned, as Menma was the one that spoke. Look, all of this is just blowing my mind now. But if you're really my grandfather, don't listen to him. He's trying to make you feel worse than you are. And you're a kind person, mister. I don't want you to fall into self-loathing. As Naruto chuckled a bit, he laughed for the first time since coming in here. The boy was trying to pronounce the word correctly. Loading, said Naruto. Yeah, that, said Minma as he stepped forward. You said that we were friends, right? But now we're a family. Is it true? Are you really my family? As Naruto got a smile on his face. Yeah, seems that way. I'm your grandfather, said Naruto. Huh, you look really young for being a grandfather. Well, there's some things you have to know, said Naruto. Whoa, this is a lot, said Minma. But, could you not leave me, he asked. As Naruto's heart broke on hearing that. You said that you were gonna leave soon. But now that you know that we're related, could you stay? I never had blood family before. Please? As Naruto pulled the boy into a hug, tears were streaming down from their eyes. It's been so long since he cried. So long. The last time he cried was when she died. And this boy, his words, his simple words, were able to melt his heart as Naruto held on to him tight. Don't worry. I won't leave you. I'll never leave you, he said. As Minma wrapped his arms around him. Thanks, JJ, he said. As Naruto smiled hearing that, the fox scarf as he turned his back. We're not done, said Naruto. I'll be back to talk to you. As the fox simply waved him off one of his tails. Alright now, wake up, said Naruto as he tapped Minma on the forehead. The next thing Minma knew, he was back. As he looked around. Hey mister, I mean JJ, we're being watched, said Minma. I know, said Naruto. I sensed them. He stooped down in front of the boy. Seems like you have a powerful sensory ability. Just like me. Come on. We gotta go talk to your Hokage. As he gave him his back. As Minma jumped on. You know, this is quite a shock. I never thought that my family or anyone related to me would still be alive, because the old man told me that you were all gone. But my mother, she was a Hokage, one of the greatest ninjas to ever walk this elemental nation. That's just amazing. I know you're here. You're my grandfather. I'm so happy, said Minma as he hugged onto Naruto. The boy had a big smile on his face. Caring about the villagers and their self-loathing, it didn't bother him anymore. Well, for the moment. Because he had family. And not to mention now he knew why they hated him. Why? Everyone glared at him so much. Because he had the fox inside of him. Meanwhile, in the shadows, the envoys were watching him as Minma pulled away a little bit, still on Naruto's back as he turned his head. As he felt the purple envoy that was always there, he waved in her direction. As a smile came on her face under her mask, he was always waving to her. He always knew where she was. The boy was indeed a powerful sensor, but the man bat that he was on, his resemblance were canny. Clear eyes brighter than the Byakugan, white, the long hair. Could it really be him? Naruto Uzumaki, the man that was set to wipe out 3 nations in the blink of an eye because of what they did, because of them wronging him. What was he doing with Minma? Just what the hell was going on? Hiruzen had told him not to intervene. Hiruzen was counting on 2 facts. If Naruto had come and seen Minma, he would have come straight to him to find out the truth. If he did not see him, he would have just leave. Because despite everything, Hiruzen knew that Naruto was still regretting everything that he did in the past. And showing up to visit Tsunade now would not be good for him because she was angry. Yes, she was pissed. If Tsunade saw him right now, she would probably try to kill him for just leaving him like that. And if he was going to leave again, despite everything, Hiruzen knew that Naruto was a kind person. And he would not cause Tsunade so much problem. But it seems that the first thing happened. He met Minma, and he was coming. Hiruzen was already ready as he was currently in the room. All of the clan heads was inside. Everyone turned towards the door and they heard talking outside. The door then opened up as he stepped inside. They all felt it. The power was brimming underneath the surface, despite him looking calm. Hey, old man! As Naruto waved towards Hiruzen, Hiruzen smiled as he looked towards the boy. As Naruto's cold eyes fall on him, We need to talk, said Naruto. Yes, that we do. We can talk in here. All of them has already been briefed on the situation that is been going on. I figure there must be a reason why you step foot in here, other than just viewing. You know, don't you? Yes, said Naruto. Wait, you knew, old man? Said Menma. His voice was full with sadness and the old man did not tell him. I'm sorry, my boy, said Hiruzen. As Naruto took Menma off his back, I'm gonna go talk with him for a moment, okay? You've been through a lot today. Why don't you go and take a rest? But I'm not tired. As Naruto placed 2 fingers on his forehead, as Menma slowly started to drift off as he yawned. Well, I do feel tired now, he said. As Naruto took the boy in his arms and brought him towards a chair that was in the corner. As he placed him down, Menma grabbed his hand. Don't leave, okay? I'll be right here when you wake up, okay? As Menma nodded before he fell asleep. As Naruto marched forward, Hiruzen, I'm being calm right now for his sake. But I'm gonna give you a minute to explain. If I find out that you have lied to me, if I find out that I left my daughter here, and you lied to me about the situation back then, Hiruzen, I'm gonna burn this village. I'm gonna reduce it to ashes and take him with me. The other members in the room eyes snapped towards Naruto. He wasn't even looking at them, his eyes was focusing directly on Hiruzen. As Danzo was sweating in the corner, but he kept his face stern. So, let me guess. You are Naruto Uzumaki, said Koharu. Be quiet, said Naruto. I'm not talking to you. Look, Koharu said. You can't just step foot in our village and, as Naruto's eyes turned towards her, as his eyes focused on her, say another word, and I assure you you're not gonna like it. Koharu gulped, as all of them felt it. A pressure. It was so calming and yet so dark, ready to lash out. Calm yourself, Naruto, said Hiruzen. You and I have never been on good terms, but I assure you this is not what you think. We did not do anything that would cause anything to happen here that would ruin the relationship. Then what happened? Because now that I think about it, at the very moment when the 3 nations attacked, the shinobis that were there were no longer there at the border. Because if they were there, Konoha would have been alerted. But yet you told me that you sent them out for war. Hiruzen, so help me to the void. If you were a part of this, by kidnapping Uzumakis, because I refused to join into your war, and taking them for your well-being, Hiruzen, you won't like what I'm gonna do next. So answer my question. What happened back then? We found her, Hiruzen said. She was taken in by a family. Your wife. She was on the verge of death. But that family was able to safely make her deliver her baby. And she did. Which I brought back to Konoha. Mito was heartbroken at the time. But when I told her what happened, she was delighted to hear that her sister's legacy lived on. She raised her like her own. Kushina was told about it soon after when she was old enough to understand. We thought that one day that you might come back. She was the one that set up that seal at Ozu. I know that you were here the moment you touched down the island. She thought that one day that you might come back so she could meet you, but you never did. I'm sorry, but that is what happened. Hiruzen hoped this was working. He was calm. And to be precise, he was not lying. Danzo was the one that took in Kushina, and they were able to make her give birth safely. He was telling the truth, but not in the right way. Because all of them could see, well, Hiruzen was the only one that knew the truth along with Danzo. If he said something out of place, Naruto would surely not hesitate to burn this village. None of the other council members spoke. Koharu kept her mouth shut. As Naruto's eyes were focused on Hiruzen, Hayashi noticed Naruto's eyes. Indeed, they were unlike the Biancan. They were a lot clearer. As you wonder what was Naruto's visual range. But that was not time to think about something like that. As Naruto stepped closer, everyone in the room tensed as they thought something was about to happen. "I'm sorry," said Naruto. As Harrison looked towards Naruto, he did not even release the sigh of relief that you want to release. "I've been on edge lately," said Naruto. "The past 30 years hasn't been good for me. I know I just found out I had a daughter and I didn't even get to meet her." "I understand," Harrison said. "But it was a crushing time for all of us. I know I have a grandson," said Naruto, "who is so hurt that he thought despite my words I might leave him." As Naruto sighed, "But I won't leave him." A smile came on his face, as the tension was no longer there. "So Harrison, what's he like?" "Well," Harrison said, "he's a rather charming young boy, polite, nice, and he has a rather big goal that he's aiming for. He wants to take my job," Harrison said. As Naruto smiled at that, "He wants to be a leader, just like his grandmother. She always wanted to lead her people." Everyone was surprised. The man that they just saw, the man that looked like he was about to kill them at any moment, was now so calm and nice. "There's something that is bothering me though, Harrison. When I was walking here, I felt a few people, anguish, their hatred towards him. Do you mind explaining that? And why didn't he know who his mother was?" "Well, you see, the situation was really tense back then. Your daughter has a lot of enemies, and they would want nothing more but to see him dead. So I had to keep that secret, for his own protection." "Well, that's understandable," said Naruto. "But why the hatred?" "Well, these people, on the night that his mother gave birth, the fox was released, and it caused a lot of death and destruction. So knowing that he possessed the fox, many of these civilians don't understand that he's not the fox but just his container. So they hate him for that." "Has they ever harmed him?" said Naruto. "No, of course not. I will not allow that to happen." "Well, I'll ask him myself when I wake up." "You don't believe me?" asked Harrison. "Well, he would say anything to protect this village. And Harrison, that boy over there is my only living family left. Well, the only one I care about. That is if the others are still alive. I missed out with my daughter, something that will scar me for the rest of my long life. So I will give everything I have to take care of our son, and make sure that he live a happy life. First thing first, I'll remove the 9 tails from out of him." Everyone gasped in the room. "You can't do that!" As Naruto turned his head towards the one-eyed man that spoke to him. "And who are you?" said Naruto. "Wait, I know you. You're part of the team that Tobirama led." "I don't remember your name though." "My name is Danzo Shimura, and we need a weapon." "Hey, kindly watch your mouth to what you call him," said Naruto. "Refer to him like that again, and I'll take away your sight." As everyone in the room was surprised how straightforward he was not joking. Harrison could see that clearly. Danzo gulped slightly. "Konoha needs to be protected. The nations don't try anything because they know that we have the strongest tail beasts. So you freeing the beast is not an option." "Well, it doesn't matter what you think," said Naruto. "And if you keep on talking like he belongs to Konoha just because he's a Jinchuriki, don't forget that he's also Uzumaki, and the Uzumakis don't belong to Konoha, and I can simply just take him away." Menma woke up at that moment as he rubbed his eyes, as Naruto was surprised that he woke up. But he smiled, strong indeed. As Menma smiled, "Hey JJ," he said, as Harrison for a moment thought that he was talking to him. But he ran up to Naruto. As Naruto stood down, "Guess what? I'm gonna remove the 9 tails from inside of you." "Really? You can do that?" "Well, I am one of the best sealing masters. Of course I can. And I'm gonna make sure that you're 100% okay." "And then what will you do?" asked Harrison as he narrowed his eyes. "We can't just allow you to take the 9 tails like that." "I'll free him," said Naruto. "He's been confined for too long. You can't just come here and take away something that doesn't belong to you," said Tsume. As Naruto turned towards her, as Tsume felt herself cowering down. Given the clan that she was from, and the alpha and the beta. She could feel the raw emotions from him. And the way he talked, the way he looked, it was a sign of an alpha. He doesn't belong to you either, said Naruto. Wait, what's going on, said Minma. They're fearing that Konoha's strength will diminish if I take away the 9 tails. But you can't, JJ. Huh? Why not? Well, you can't just take it away. If you do, Konoha's strength will get diminished, as you said. And I'm gonna be a Konoha ninja soon. And then I'm gonna be the greatest Hokage. So I don't want anything to happen. Why? Huh? Why do you want to be Hokage? You saw the way they acted. You also told me. So why? Well, despite everything, I know that my mother is indeed the 4th Hokage. It just pushed my drive even stronger. And yeah, I want to be the next Hokage and protect this village. So please, don't do anything to it. Please? As Naruto sighed, fine. What do you want me to do then? Well, I could become friends with the fox. That's gonna be more difficult than you think, said Naruto. And why? If I don't do it, the villagers, I'll win them over the same way, as he clenches fists. Because I have the determination and the drive to do so. And I won't stop until I'm the best Hokage ever, and everyone loves me. And if you do take it away, they will still remember me as the boy that had it. And what if something bad happened at Rampage of Village again? They will hate me even more. That would never happen under my watch, said Naruto. But if you think you can handle this, I will leave you be. But if any problem rise, I'll remove it. Without your yes or no, okay? Yeah. Thanks. Well, you listen to my idea. Unlike most people, they would not have listened. So thanks, okay? Hey, come on. I want to introduce you to a couple of people in the village. Some of my precious people. Oh, is that so? Well then, as Naruto scooped the boy up and placed him on his shoulder, let's go. See you later, old man, said Minma as he simply went away with Naruto. As everyone in the room was shocked silent, as Naruto didn't even pay them any attention. He truly didn't care about their opinion or what they think or what they say. Hiruzen, we cannot let this stand. We cannot let him have so much power over us. Be quiet, Danzo, Hiruzen said. Hokage-sama, Itachi said. I see this as a great benefit to Konoha. As Hiruzen looked at Itachi, continued. As long as Minma has the drive, the spirit, to become Hokage, Naruto will never leave him. And despite the situation, if he's powerful enough to wipe out 3 nations without batting in the eye, then Konoha will always keep safe, and the young ones will always be protected, and the future will continue on. Exactly what I was thinking, Itachi, said Hiruzen and smiled. What do you think, Shikaku? Well, I think this guy's a loose cannon, but I agree with Itachi's theory, and yours as well. Minma is the only thing that is holding him together. Like he says, he's his family. But we're gonna have to find a way to keep him in line, because if we don't, he's gonna think that he's above even you, Hokage-sama, and above everyone else. Despite his strength, he needs to learn how to follow rules. As Hiruzen went into deep thought, I think I have an idea. As Danzo frowned to himself. This was not going as he expected at all. With Naruto back now, things were just more problematic. He had plans to take Minma. After all, his mother was a force of nature itself. So Minma grew up into a fine, powerful warrior that would protect Konoha with everything he got, but Danzo wanted to turn him into one of his emotionalized drones and use him to kill Hiruzen. But now that didn't look so wise. But Danzo would just keep his distance for now, because he didn't want the wrath of Naruto to fall on Konoha, because that wouldn't be good at all, not one bit. Meanwhile, as Minma was on top of Naruto's shoulder, as they walked through the village, people were free to look their way. Maybe it was the ominous presence that came from Naruto that made them fear to even glance over towards him, but the ones that did looked towards his features. They couldn't help but be reminded of the legend that they heard about the wrathful god that brought down death and destruction on the three nations that helped Konoha win the Second Regional War. Long white hair, pristine white eyes. They were so familiar, but it couldn't be, could it? And what would he be doing with that demon, they wondered. Over here, JJ said Menma, as he steered him straight towards the Ichiwaka ramen stand. Hey old man, big sister Ayam. Ah, Menma. Hello there, she said. Guess what? This is my grandfather. Oh really, Ayam said, as she looked towards the kind eyes of this stranger. He was smiling happily as he looked towards the boy and settled him down in a stool. Wait, really? Yes, said Naruto. I heard that you're one of my grandson's special people. Wait, you're really his grandfather? As Naruto nodded. But how? As Toki came from the back. I overheard that. So you're really his grandfather? How can we be so sure? As the man narrowed his eyes. I would get why you would be cautious. Seems like you don't know. Know what? You have to speak to your Hokage about that. As Naruto looked down towards Minma, who was bounced on his seat. The last time, he ended up wiping out three nations because of what they did to Uzo. And this boy, his family that he found. He would do much worse if something was happening to him. Perhaps Hiruzen was right. Not telling anyone about his mother, and keeping his identity for now, until he becomes strong enough to defend himself was the right thing to do. Hey Minma, I am called him over. Yeah? Are you so sure that this guy is your grandfather? We don't want anyone using you, you know? Oh, don't worry. I talked to the old man about it, and... Minma paused. Can I tell them? You'll have to speak to your Hokage first, said Naruto. So nothing yet. Oh, alright. Sorry, Ayam, but I can't tell you now. But believe me, he's my grandfather. And he's gonna stay here with me now. Could you believe it? I have a blood family. As Minma had a big happy smile. Hey, mister. It's Naruto. Yeah, Naruto, said Ayam. If you're really his grandfather, please, don't hurt him, okay? He's already been through a lot. And I'm gonna talk to the Hokage. I want to find out. I can see that you truly care about him. As he said, I'm one of his precious people. Of course I care about him. And for that I thank you, said Naruto, for watching over him. Don't worry about it. But, make sure you keep your word and not hurt him, okay? Or else, you'll have to deal with me, she said. As Naruto chuckled at that. You're a feisty one, aren't you? She's not alone, said Toki, as he had his spatula in his hand. As Naruto laughed. It's been a long while since he had a good laugh. So, how about some bowls of ramen? Hey, JJ, you ever had the food of gods? Said Naruto. Time skip. Sometime later, both Ayam and Toki were shocked to their core. The both of them sat down as they were tired. Naruto was a more monster than Minma. Minma had finished 25 bowls of ramen, and Naruto had ate 45. As the both of them were exhausted. Whoa. You're even better than I am. Seems like you got your appetite from me, said Naruto. As Minma burped. Sorry about that, he said. As Naruto burped as well. As the both of them started to laugh. Minma's eyes went wide as he searched himself. I don't have my wallet, he said. Oh, don't worry about it. The Hokage will come and pay for the tab, okay? As he gave the two of them a wave as he took Minma. Yeah, said Toki. As the man was shocked. It was indeed his family. This was still a shock to them. But he didn't pay. Well, the Hokage would take care of the tab, he presumed. Well, he was gonna talk to the Hokage anyway. He wanted to know if this was correct. But from their food intake, perhaps it was true. Now that my stomach is full, let's go on ahead. I have some more precious people for you to meet. Meanwhile, Rain heard knocking on her door. I'm coming, she said, as she opened the door. Oh, Naruto. As she saw someone behind him. Can I help you, she said. Oh, Rain-san, guess what? I have a blood family. Huh? Well, this is my grandfather. Ren narrowed her eyes. And he told you that? As he nodded quickly. Minma, would you mind going inside for me? There's some scrolls that I left open in there. See if you can understand what's on it. Really? Ninja scrolls? Yeah, I did promise you. I'll be right back, JJ, he says he ran off. Take your time, said Naruto. As when he was gone, Ren stepped forward. Look, I don't know who you are, or what you want. But you must know who he is and what he contains inside of him. And if you think you can get what you want from him because he's a nice, kind boy, you're sadly mistaken. Are you even seeing me? She said. Oh, I can see you just fine. I'm glad that he has such protected people in his life. I cannot tell you the details of why I'm here down and how I'm his grandfather, but I'm sure the Hokage will tell you, given that you're one of his precious people. He told me himself. As Rain smiled upon hearing that, she snapped back into focus. And you truly believe that you're his grandfather? You have nothing in common. Well, the same angle of your face and that nose, but still, that doesn't mean anything. As Naruto placed a hand on her shoulder, calm down, he said. I mean you no harm. I just want what is best for him. If you say this, and if I find out that this is truth, and you are his grandfather, and you try to hurt him in a way, emotionally or physically, She paused. Wait. If this is true, that means you know his mother. As she narrowed her eyes. As Naruto saw it, so you know as well, don't you? What's her name? She asked. You don't trust me. But her name is Kushina Uzumaki. She looked around and she pulled him inside and locked the door. Really, people know that. And I'm one of them because she was my sensei. But yes, she's his mother. So, this is real? You're really his grandfather? As he nodded. Wait. On his mother's side or father's side? Mother. She stepped back in fear. What's wrong? Kushina sensei didn't trust many people with her family secrets, but she told me who her father was. You're him. Naruto Uzumaki. The one that wiped out 3 nations. You're him, aren't you? As Naruto nodded. So it's true. Because of what happened to the Uzumakis, you went berserk and slaughtered so many. Yes. My hands are covered in blood. But I assure you, I only want happiness for that boy in there. A soul, as precious as his, should never be diminished. So, where the hell were you all this time? You know how much time Kushina-sama wished that she could meet you. As Naruto lowered his head, that's a disappointment on my part. I never knew. I never knew that she was alive. I never knew that none of them survived. I was a coward, fool. I ran away. I ran away from everything. But I want to make that up to this boy. To her by being there for her son. This doesn't make any sense. If my calculations are correct, you're far too young for this. Well, that's a secret. Let's just say it runs the bloodline. She narrowed her eyes. As Menma came back inside. All done, he said, as he had 2 large scrolls in his hands. You finished already? Said Naruto. Yep. Well, he's a smart boy, and he soaks up information quite fast. I'm guessing you're the same, said Ren as she narrowed her eyes. Seems we are. Well, I understand all the concept and basic even more. This theory on chakra control is a lot better than the one that I learned at school. It's gonna help me a lot more. Thanks, Ren-san, he said. Shirofle is here. Don't worry about it, Menma, she said. I still have to bring him somewhere else, so I'll see you later, okay? And we can tell to the Hokage and I'll tell you everything, okay? I'm sure that he will tell you. After all, you're one of my precious people. Come on, JJ, let's go. As Ren grabbed Naruto's hand, she released it next second. Sorry about that. I just wanted to say, look out for him, okay? As Naruto nodded. As they left, she sat down. Whoa. That was a shock. Kushina didn't really tell people about her life, but she did tell her students. And about who her father was. So to see him here, well, she quickly made her way towards Hokage's tower. She had to speak to the Hokage. He had all the facts, but she just wanted to confirm it. As she made her way, as Minma took Naruto towards a different part of the village. As Naruto saw the crest on the wall, Uchiha, he thought to himself, well, this was a must after all the Uchihas had sided with Hoshirama in the attack. Even when Madara deserted, they stayed with Hoshirama. Madara must have felt terrible for what they did betraying him. But he's gonna feel much worse when I find him, Naruto thought to himself. He wants to know what happened that night, and if Madara was truly responsible for his daughter's death, and how the hell he was still alive. He will give him a minute to explain himself. Just a single minute. But if he hadn't come here, if he hadn't extracted the fox from his daughter, she would still be alive. And he would have met her, along with his grandson, and gotten time to patch up things with her. As Naruto clenched his fists, we're here, as he was snapped from his thoughts. As they stopped at the gate, until someone arrived in a few seconds. Who is it? A voice said. Hey, Inabi, it's me. As the gate opened up to show a man there, he was middle-aged as he saw him. Ah, Minma-kun, he said. Here to visit young Sasuke. As Minma nodded, as Inabi then narrowed his eyes. And who's this? Oh, this is my grandfather. Can you come in as well? As Inabi narrowed his eyes at the man, he turned his head. Yes, I can see you, said Naruto. Oh, sorry about that. Your eyes kind of look like the Byakugan, but at the same time I mistaken them for blindness. So, grandfather. I'm presuming that's correct? Yes. Well, this is a surprise. As long as you don't cause any trouble, you're welcome to come in, he said. As the man let them pass. As Naruto narrowed his eyes around, there was a lot less Uchihas than before. In the past, there was a lot. There were certain things that he had to talk to Hiruzen about, not to mention where Tsunade was. Know that he was gonna stay here for Minma. He was gonna find her, and he was actually gonna talk to her. She was gonna hate him and he knew that, but he was gonna talk to her. As Naruto saw, there was a few kids inside, and just a couple old people. He didn't see anyone that looked like they could fight. As Minma brought him towards a giant house that was kind of in the center of the compound. As he brought him there, as Minma knocked and waited, someone came around from the back. Huh? What are you doing here? Actually, I came to see you and your mom. For what? As Naruto narrowed his eyes at the boy. Aizuna? Huh? What do you call me? Said Sasuke. Sorry about that. You look like someone I once knew. Who's this? Why did you brought him here? Well, this is my grandfather. What? For true? As Minma nodded. But I thought you didn't have any family, that you were orphan. Well, it turns out I do. That's so. And you're really his grandfather, huh? As Naruto stooped down. And who are you? He said. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke Uchiha, huh? Your attitude and your looks remind me of someone in my past. Don't go bring me up with other people that I don't know. So are you sure that you're related to him? I mean, you don't look alike. And Sasuke waved his hand. Can you see me? As Naruto reached and popped him on the forehead. Ow! Made my laugh. That's what you get. Of course he can see you. My grandfather's awesome. To you maybe, but he's in no way special like my big brother. Well, my grandfather is stronger. You're kidding, right? Itachi's the best. No one can beat Itachi. The door then opened, as Naruto saw a black-haired woman. She had a sweet, kind smile. She looked towards her son and Minma. Ah, Minma-kun. She paused. Hello, she said. Hello there, said Naruto. As Minma moved forward and hugged the woman, she smiled and patted him on the back. How are you doing today? She asks. Just fine. I got some news. Oh, and what's that? Well, he's my grandfather. Mikoto narrowed her eyes. Grandfather? As she focused on Naruto intensely, the woman got serious within a second. Oh, is he now? She said, as she tried to smile once again. Sasuke, why don't you go and show Minma your garden? As Minma started to laugh, you garden now? Hey, it's just a hobby. Hey, you gonna be okay, JJ? Yes, just fine. Seems like your friend here wants to talk to me. Oh, okay. Hey, he's a real nice person, okay? And he's my family. So, you two get along. Come on, Sasuke. As both him and Sasuke lead the way. Hey, don't pull me, said Sasuke. Yeah, just shut then, come on. Look, I don't know what you're trying to pull here. So tell me who the hell you are, said Mikoto. She wasn't in the mood for any games. Meanwhile, it's done. The voice of the creature that caused Naruto everything said, it was none other than Black Zetsu. There was a man, sitting down. He had long black flowing hair. His face was hidden in the shadows. Oh, is it now? He said. As he looked up, he had two sets of fully developed Mangita Sharingan in both eyes. Well then, let it commence. But guys, me and subscribe right here. If you want the next person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications they posted. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.